Man, looks like a storm.
Oh yeah.
Might get a little thunder and lightning show here. That'd be pretty sweet. We get pretty good storms here in the summertime. It's pretty often that we get a storm blow through. At least a couple times a month usually, in the summertime anyway. So it was kind of an interesting topic that Jahv brought up the other day on one of his videos, riding with Jahv. And he asked the question about helmets, whether or not cyclists should wear helmets or should be forced to wear helmets. And I think I'm a huge personal freedoms guy, and I definitely think that we should all have the chance to choose whether or not, as a cyclist, we want to wear a helmet when we ride. And he kind of brought up a couple of different other things like seat belts and helmets for motorcycles. Now here in Utah, we actually don't have a helmet law for motorcycles. You don't have to wear a helmet unless you're under a certain age. And I believe that once you're 18 or over, it's of your own choosing whether or not you want to wear a helmet. But you know, it's one of those things that it's kind of a tricky situation here. So he brought up a couple of people he personally knows who the helmet saved their life, and I know of at least one person who, had he not been wearing a helmet, he would be dead today. When he was a kid, he was riding down his driveway, and I watched it happen. And he rode right out in front of a big truck. Now, this big truck wasn't traveling super fast, but if you know anything about energy and speed, when you're in a big truck like this, you don't have to be going very fast to do a lot of damage. The truck hit him square on the side of his head where the bumper was. It was a lifted truck, and smack dab side of his head, and knocked him clean off his bike. And so he hits his head not only on the truck that hits him, but also on the pavement. So kind of a double whammy. He had a pretty good nosebleed, and this was a kid. I mean, at the time this happened, I was probably 7 or 8, and helmet technology back then wasn't the greatest. It almost looked kind of like one of those styrofoam coolers with a plastic shell. But I have no doubt that had he not been wearing even that most basic of helmets, that one of the two impacts would have killed him. And it was a scary time, obviously. Happened right in front of his mom too. That was another kind of scary moment. So that was my time that I saw it happen. I myself had a couple of accidents. I don't know that any of my accidents were involving my helmet being a lifesaver, but I was glad I was wearing it. But then that gets all back to the personal freedom aspect. Should you be mandated to wear a helmet as a cyclist? Versus should you choose to protect yourself as a cyclist? And I definitely fall in line with Jahv, except for kids. And I joke around about it sometimes that too many of these nanny state laws are keeping too many kids alive nowadays. And the kids that are stupid are being saved when natural selection and evolution should be taking place. But I understand, you know, you don't ever want to have to bury a kid. So I guess to sum it up, I'm for helmet laws with regards to minors. And I don't mean the guys that dig in the dirt to try to find gold or in the mountains. I mean specifically children under the age of 18. And their parents should be required to properly protect their children. Oh, what's going on up here? But once you're 18, do what you want. Wear a helmet, don't wear a helmet. In my opinion, I agree with Jahv and the seatbelt thing. I think seatbelts should be required, just like car seats for children. And then once you're 18, if you don't care about going through that windshield, hey man, more power to you.